In fiction, long-running stories can run the risk of recency bias after its completion. Whether it be good or bad, viewers take whatever experience they felt toward the end of a story and equate it to the entire experience at large. This is why rewatches are important. It can replace previous viewings and change how you felt about the entire story. These changes can come in the form of theming, exposition, and just the presentation that's involved. These elements serve as the backbone to the overarching plot of the narrative, so it's important to analyze these moments thoroughly because you can gain a new perspective on what you're watching or reading. A study from Glenberg back in 1983 explores the recency effect. Quote, "The magnitude of the long-term recency effect depends critically on both the duration of the distractor given after the last word. Increasing the interpretation interval results in more recency and better recall of the final item." Applying this recency effect to storytelling, and it's clear to see that the interpretation interval has long-lasting effects on viewers. It's often that we see stories like Naruto become downplayed with time because of the recency effect, as well as this misunderstanding of its storytelling and how it's all brought together. There's an apparent romanticism with allegories displayed in modern anime, and Naruto is shown at the forefront of all of it. This created division with its fanbase, with some referring to the series as overrated or overhyped. But why? How could a series so large become privy to the recency effect in a negative manner? Well, first, we have to examine the misunderstanding of Naruto and its main theme. Constructing the Theme of a Story by Catherine H. In storytelling, what happens next is the question about chronology and narrative order. Why did it happen is a question about conflict and plot. But when we ask, what does it all mean, we begin to discover theme. Back in Naruto Part 1, there was a heavy emphasis on creating a somber world, packed with characters and dispositions on all walks of life. Sasuke, a character whose entire village was massacred by his brother, Neji, a character who's driven by his fatalistic beliefs due to his traumatic upbringing, and Naruto and Gaara, Jinchuriki who faced discriminations at the hands of their own villages. Just a few examples of the recurring theme that 90% of the main cast are either living in their nightmares or faced with a traumatic world. This is in stark contrast to the misconception that the main theme of Naruto is about hard work and dedication. They point to the only character who represents this idea, the culprit being Rock Lee. The truth is, Rock Lee represents a different idea in the same traumatic world that the other characters live in. He's a ninja that can't perform ninjutsu. This in itself is Rock Lee's own nightmare, faced with scrutiny by his classmates and his teachers because he's incapable. It's a backstory further cementing the greater context of the state of the world, that every living being is somehow bound to the fate that they're given. Characters who succumb to the darkness and trauma fail to change their circumstance. The motif here is that Naruto, the main character, is faced with perhaps the greatest darkness that's represented in the story, the nine-tailed fox. His circumstance being that he's literally and metaphorically a demon child and always will be. He's constantly fighting against the nine tails' looming darkness, trying his best not to submit to those overwhelming odds. He rises above these circumstances on more than one occasion, not by traditionally succumbing to the darkness, which would lead him to more hatred like his progenitors did before him. Instead, he comes at his darkness in a different way, in an attempt to acknowledge it and understand it, rather than disregarding it as something only worthy of being subjugated and silenced. This is how Naruto opposes the fate of the world and the darkness that resides within it, becoming Hokage not to be acknowledged, but to oppose the current circumstance in the world. His fight with Neji represents this battle of circumstances. Neji believed his fate was concrete, and he was bound to his twisted sense of self. Since he was a genius and Naruto isn't, surely he'll win. Fate dictates that the superior always wins, right? Naruto contradicts this ideology. The very chakra that dictated his own cursed fate in solitude is the same one he used in an attempt to change his own, by using it against someone who, just like he once had, believed his destiny was forever doomed. Again, Naruto could have lashed out in anger and submitted to his darkness, but here he uses his power to prove a point. This point being having the power to change. Naruto didn't win because of his strength or even outsmarting Neji. He won a battle of ideology. He's a person fighting back against circumstance versus someone who's given up on it. Some say that the Ashura revelation ruined the moral of that fight because Naruto was born with gifts, but I'd argue that people are missing the point. Naruto isn't the only one that this revelation is tied to, but Sasuke as well. The whole point of the Indra Ashura shenanigans is to reinforce the overarching theme of the story. Can ninjas understand each other? Can mutual understanding in this world bring peace? These questions represent Naruto's dream, and being Hokage is synonymous with his dream of the future. Him being a reincarnation of an entity that's in constant war with another, that war being so great that the conflict transcends generations, is the theme of Naruto, ingenious storytelling by Kishimoto. The story of Ashura and Indra, as well as Hashirama and Madara, is a microcosm of the state of the world. The endless battles mirrors the shinobi world's endless wars, the cycle of hatred that Naruto makes his main goal for finding a solution for. Naruto proved in his fight with Neji that one should rise above circumstance, and then later validates his own claims when his ideology helps him persevere against the fate of the world itself. Thanks for watching this short quickie. I highly urge people to reread Naruto, as there's many small intricacies and underlying messages hidden within its story. These are all the small things that can be overlooked when analyzing a story. Let me know in the comments if I missed anything. Until then.